Today, we're going to be checking out the king of all budget smartphones. This is the Moto G5S Plus. Moto is making smartphones for quite some time now. However, this smartphone is their latest product in what they call the G series. Now, if you take a look at this box, the first thing we're going to find inside it is the actual phone. It looks pretty nice. It actually reminds me a lot of the Galaxy S6 and S7, which is definitely not a bad thing at all. Now, the next thing is a little paper cover and an instruction manual and a warranty manual. Now you have your USB to micro USB cable. You have micro USB, your wall adapter, and a pin to eject your SIM card holder. And that's basically it. Now, overall, the build quality is pretty solid. It does feature a full metal and glass design, but as to be expected, it does not have water resistance. It only has a small protective coating for what they call splash resistance, so I would definitely not recommend going swimming with it. It weighs 168 grams, which puts it on par with flagship smartphones. However, it definitely isn't as comfortable as something like a Galaxy S8. Now, one of the things that makes it very uncomfortable is its large camera bump. It just feels so awkward. However, this can be easily fixed by just putting on a case, which most of you will do. Another thing I do not like is that the volume button and the power button are on the same side. So if you go to change your volume one time, you may accidentally click your power button. I really wish they would have put it on the left side, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. This phone features a 5.5-inch LCD 1080p display with a 16:9 aspect ratio. So unfortunately, this device is not OLED, which is to be expected at a smartphone at this price range. This means that the colors are decent and are under par compared to flagships today. And it's the same with the brightness. It really just doesn't get as bright as I would like. This is one of the major downsides of the phone. Built inside this thing is an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 625. Compared to processors like the Snapdragon 835, this is definitely under par. However, phones with these processors are also 4 times the price. This phone comes with 2 models, one with 3GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage, and one with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. However, storage is expandable via a micro SD card slot. Good job, Motorola. It also has a 3000 mAh battery, which is pretty standard. However, the Snapdragon 625 is extremely efficient. I could get 8 hours of battery life out of this thing, and that was pretty intensive. Some things I did were gaming, texting, and watching videos on YouTube. If you happen to be running low on battery, you can quickly charge this phone up with the turbo power charger included in the box. This charger will give this device 6 hours of usage in just 15 minutes of charging, which I think is completely fantastic. Unfortunately though, it charges through micro USB, not USB Type-C, which we see all the newer flagship smartphones switching over to. Hopefully we will see this roll out to the next generation of Moto smartphones. As I was saying before, the camera bump is a major disappointment on this thing. However, the camera is not. Open the camera by either tapping the camera app or doing this gesture 2 times. This phone has dual 13 megapixel rear-facing cameras with a f2.0 aperture. Now this also allows for 8 times zoom and optical image stabilization, which I rarely ever see in budget smartphones. When taking a photo, you have 4 modes to choose from. The first one is your basic photo mode, which gives you access to pretty basic features like HDR, LED flash, a photo timer, and a low light mode. This is the one you're going to first see when you open the camera app. Next, you have panorama mode, which if you didn't know, allows you to take really tall or really wide photos. Not going to be using that very much. The next mode is depth enabled mode, which allows you to blur the background on your picture. Now, I found this mode did not work sometimes, which is really annoying to me, and it was something that I was excited about for the phone. Lastly, we have professional or pro mode, which allows you to play with the photo settings and access a bunch of cool features, which I'm not going to go over in this video. Even with all that nice hardware, the contrast just isn't as good as a high-end phone, and the night or low light quality is just okay. However, images taken on this device are usable though. Aside from just taking images, it can also record at 4K 30, 1080p 60, and 720p 240 for slow motion, which is higher than I expect a phone like this to offer. The video quality is just okay, but one place it lacks in is audio. The microphones on it are not the best. They just distort the sound. There's one on the bottom and one on the back above the camera, but honestly, I really wouldn't use this thing for video unless you're connecting an external microphone. If you were wondering how to change the settings of the camera, just swipe from the left side of the screen and you'll get a list of settings. For example, if you want to change your photo resolution or aspect ratio, just click the photo size button and you can quickly change between resolution and aspect ratio. And if you want to change between video resolutions, just click the video size button. Now to get to the videos or photos you took, Just swipe from the right side of the screen on the camera app or open the Google Photos app. This phone also has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, also with an f2.0 aperture, and basically has the same features as the rear-facing camera. It has 8 times zoom and allows for optical image stabilization as well. Now, instead of having 4 modes to choose from, there's only 3. You have the normal photo mode, which has HDR, LED flash, a timer, and instead of a low light mode like the rear-facing camera, there's a beauty mode, so you can make yourself look better than you actually do. Next, there's a panorama mode, which is sort of the same thing as the panorama mode on the rear-facing camera. Lastly, there's professional or pro mode, which, as I said before, just allows you to play with the photo settings and use a bunch of cool features. The camera is definitely usable, however, you're not going to get crisp selfies with it. The picture is a little fuzzy, and you can definitely see the impact of low resolution on the pictures. If you want to change the settings of the camera, like I said, just swipe from the left side of the screen and you'll get a list of settings, and swipe right to get your photos or videos that you took. As I was saying before, the microphone on this thing is not the best, and that goes the same with the speakers.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's AJ here, and welcome to Unboxed Station.
They do get a little bit tinny when putting them on 100% and are not extremely loud. However though, you can connect external headphones or speakers either through Bluetooth 4.2 or via the 3.5mm headphone jack. Thank you so much, Motorola. You actually have an advantage over the iPhone. Now, this phone is running Android 7 Nougat, which is kind of weird seeing as Android 8 Oreo came out this August. I hope there will be an update to that. Unlocking this phone is very simple. You can use the average PIN or password, however, most people are going to use the included fingerprint sensor. I think this is a great addition to this phone because it works every single time no matter which angle I do it at. This is a great step above the Galaxy S6 and S7's fingerprint sensor because when I use those, I actually use a pin for quite some time because of how annoyed I was at the fingerprint sensor. When you open your phone, you'll be taken to the lock screen. Now, before you unlock your phone, you really only have access to 2 things, your notifications and the camera. After unlocking your phone, you'll be taken to the home screen that you can customize with apps and widgets. You have your main apps that you can put on the bottom, and the rest is up to you. Swipe up from the bottom of the screen to view all your apps that you downloaded, and hold the screen and click the widgets icon to view all the widgets available. Swipe down from the top to view some basic settings like brightness, Wi-Fi, and your notifications. Swipe right to access the Google homepage where you can search the internet and view the latest news and deals. On the bottom of the screen is the back button, home button, which you can hold to access Google Assistant, and a button to view your app. Now, one thing to note is that the fingerprint sensor is not actually the home button, and it really has no other purpose other than unlocking your phone and doing a couple of gestures, I guess, which is weird, and that's basically it. So that basically means the 2 sides of the home button are useless and a complete waste of space. I would recommend this phone to anyone who doesn't want to spend $800 on something like a Galaxy S8 or an iPhone, and just with a smartphone with a decent camera that has some pretty cool stuff and can access some pretty basic features. This phone is by far the best phone for its price, which can be found at $239 for the base model and $299 for the upgraded 64GB model. I would really like to see these higher end specs rolled out to more and more budget smartphones each year. Leave a comment letting me know what you think about the Moto G5S Plus. Like and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.